but I'm not sure for sure. Yes, men should always lead with their wallet. Men of means should always lead with their successful men, as the question is asked, should always lead with their wallet. Should men lead with their money? No. But I go deeper than leading with money. Darwin, are we kind of close?
We're on the same page, brother.
Yeah. You see, the question is asking, should I lead with my wallet? This is mine. I've had this one for a long time. Have you guys ever seen Pulp Fiction, the movie?
Yep.
This is my bad motherfucker right here. For those that know, here is a bad motherfucking wallet. You see, in this wallet in which I lead with is much more than just money. Everybody that says that you shouldn't lead with your wallet, I get it. You're naturally gonna go with, no, man, don't lead with your wallet. You're gonna be a sucker. You're gonna get, tricked out. You showing how much money you got. I said, no. You see, a wallet is not just for cash. It does not just hold. Now it does hold the checks. I got checks in here. 2 different accounts. I keep 1 check in each one of those accounts. It does have cash in here as well, but it also has my Diners Club card. It also has my fraternity membership card. It has my AAA card. It has a whole slew of credit cards, which indicates my credit score, especially the kind of, most of my cards are metal. It includes my insurance cards.
All right, Shannon flexing. All right, he flexing on us. Man, should men lead with their wallets? You want to take this one or?
So he almost convinced. When I first heard the question, well, let me say this, because I want to give a shout out to the people that we watch and use. This is King Talk, which is on the Lapeef Network, and that was Shannon Ross who's talking. He's one of the more seasoned people on that show, kind of like an OG role, so to speak. Says a lot of good things. Definitely a red pillar, a good dude. He almost made me change my mind, because when I first heard the question, my answer was hell no. Lead with character, lead with masculinity. And that's worked for me, and it will continue to work for me. I don't see any reason to show anybody my wallet, at least not right away, nor should you, because I don't see how you can lead with your wallet without talking about money. He mentioned his cards and his checks. And the only people that have metal cards are usually people that have access to some money.
Yeah.
So he is kind of flexing with leading with money a little bit. I don't know how you differentiate the two.
Was he asking in terms of a dating situation?
Yeah, the context was if you see a woman that you're interested in, what should you lead with?
All right. So say grocery store, okay? All right. Is that what he's talking about? Just in it random, or are you going on a date?
I mean, you can set the location or the context however you want to see fit, but the question was, when meeting a woman that you're interested in, should you lead with your wallet?
Yeah. And the only reason I asked that, though, what if like leading with your wallet can actually not just mean your wallet, but say your car, or when you get on dating apps, people lead with their wallet by showing them doing something, showing, I have like a boat, I have a motorcycle, I have like a 4-wheeler, or I go to these types of places. Like, you're still leading with your wallet to some degree, which, and the question is, should men lead with their wallet? Yeah, I guess depending on the situation, or depending on how much you want to lead with. But that wallet that Shannon's talking about, like, how often are you pulling your wallet out in front of a chick? Like, let's say you're at the grocery store, you're just going to be pulling your wallet out randomly. But I bet Shannon is probably, or maybe other men, they're probably wearing like a nice watch, nice clothes. That's still, to me, that's still leading with your wallet. Like, you're setting up the presentation. And then when you go on a date, let's say you don't pick the chick up, you could be leading with your wallet by like, hey, let's go to this restaurant, like go to a very nice restaurant. So I understand where some people may think that leading with your wallet can lead you down a road of like, oh, she's just going to use you or blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. Everyone's using everybody. Like, you want to use her vagina, and then she wants to use, the Instagram or whatever to get the likes or whatever. Like, at the same point, you're all using each other. But I think for most people, for most men, they got to get out of this mindset that you do not want to be used because you're going to be used. Like, unfortunately for a lot of men, you just end up getting used. And I think some men want to be appreciated while they're being used, or some men want to come out there and say, like, hey, this is not you, you're asking for too much too early. This is not going to work for me. So as long as you know what's going on, or you know that you're going to, this is a person you don't mind using resources or being around, or having them use your resources, because again, they're using you. That's what leading your wallet. I believe that's what leading your wallet can lead to, but I don't think it's a big deal, or as big a deal as some people may detract from it.
So how do you, if you lead with your wallet, how do you practice simp prevention? Because she's going to see that wallet.
Mhm.
She's going to see those cards. She's going to think you have access to
Or
money.
got a
And she
Rolex.
wants that money. So how do you prevent the simpage from happening in situations like that if you're leading with your wallet? Because I'm looking at it like this, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Mhm.
Obviously, I ain't been on a dating scene in a minute, but my first date is probably going to be something that's coffee, a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going all out on the first date, because I'm trying to vet you to see if you even worth my time, and hopefully you're doing the same thing too.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the Papados and the Ruth Chris and the vacations and stuff later, but I want her to think that I'm broke, because then I know that she's really trying to get it out the mud with me. Then I can slowly start immersing her into what I'm actually doing and what I'm actually about. That's how I'm looking at it. But back to you though, if you're leading with your wallet, how do you set up simp prevention?
So, simp prevention, when it comes to dating, I think most people are gonna it'll be construed as simping or tricking or whatever it is. At the end of the day, like when you go on first, like when it comes to like dating, I don't like younger me. I would definitely go to these dates. Over time, I've realized you don't need to do dates. You don't need to do going to like food dates, because those food dates at the end of the day, they don't end up like I'm trying to think of the amount of times that I went on a food date and like it turned into something more. It doesn't. There's no guarantee that you'll get a second date or a third date or anything related to that. So I try to avoid going to like places where I try to avoid the food places, just because I rather do something fun. I rather do something a little more interactive, something like Top Golf, and which Top Golf, it can be a little pricey though. But if it's something fun to do, then I say go do it. Or even putt-putt golf, I guess, or bowling or darts or something like that's kind of low key, and you don't feel like you're committing or investing a lot though, because you're just trying to get to know each other. But also when you do these little coffee dates like something that I've heard before that I just never exercised until recently is dates are, first dates are only supposed to be like 30 or 60 minutes long. You're just supposed to get to know them and, just see if there's a match or something, and then launches into like a second date though, because I can't tell you how many times I've been on first dates and they never go anywhere. They never end up like materializing into a second date. So that's one way of avoiding, any, I guess perceived simping. But I still think that you're still going to be spending something though, because you're not just going to, show up in some basketball shorts and a t-shirt. I mean, actually you could, I guess, if you just want to be comfortable and say like, hey, low key, I've never done that. I just wear a nice shirt and nice pants, and I don't wear jewelry like that, like a watch or anything.
No,
But
the basketball shorts is for cheek clapping. That's a cheek clapping environment right there.
pretty much. I will say people will definitely judge you if you have like a Samsung phone, or if you have a Samsung phone. Like that definitely has come up in conversations though with because I'm a Samsung guy, and that has definitely come up in conversations because for whatever reason, people Android or not Android but iPhone users, they have like a big problem with that, and that can be seen as like a slight towards you because you don't have
Hey, it's that bad, huh?
Or you have an iPhone.
So it sounds like I think I agree with you. Relationships are transactional, essentially, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, they're 100% transactional.
It's funny. It took me a very long time to realize that as a married man.
Mhm.
But CGA kind of, Coach Greg Adams kind of made sense to me. Because like you said, at the end of the day, we love each other, but we're both here because we're providing the benefits of one another
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
I think with men is, yeah, you want to, the romance side of it is cool, but you got to keep the logic side of it as well. You really got to look at this woman logically.
Mhm.
Take all that lust and emotion and romance out of it for a minute. Look at her logically and see if you can build something with her.
Yeah.
I still say you should lead with your masculinity because in my theory, my humble opinion, there are not a whole lot of women walking around right now who have seen what real masculinity looks like. That's why I always get so frustrated when I hear the words toxic masculinity, because there's no such thing as toxic masculinity.
Hey, for real.
Every example you can give me a toxic masculinity is an example of no masculinity, period.
Yeah. The funny thing, when it comes, and I believe you do both, where you lead with masculinity and also, you know, you go ahead and have fun and do fun stuff. But I think what gets a lot of people in trouble is, I'll tell you this much: when it comes to like going on these first types of dates, it's women that kind of changed it for me because, again, I would do these dates. And some would say that's tricky. Like, well, why are you going to these nice restaurants? I'm like, well, I mean, we want to go eat. I was told you got to go to a nice restaurant or you got to go eat. You don't really realize that stuff. At least for me, it took me a little bit longer to realize that is not, you do not want to do anything like that. But after you go on the second or third date, you could probably do some stuff like that where you can spend a little bit extra or decide to spend a little bit extra because you do want to set like some type of you want to set the vibe that, hey, I'm going to take, because we headed off on the first date, we're going to go to a second date where I'm going to take you to a nice spot someplace. And men should be going to places that they feel comfortable. Don't be trying new damn restaurants. Like, don't be going somewhere where you've never been. Like, no, save that down the road for if a chick is with you 4 or 5 months later. Don't be going to some new place and like, well, aren't you worried about, people recognize you or the wait staff? That's actually a good thing though, that the wait staff or they would recognize you because you want them being comfortable with you because they're probably going to look out for you, like give you a nice seat or make sure they're very attentive to your table as well too. That's something else I picked up from CGA. But men, you should kind of be going places where you're comfortable at, and then also it's a nice restaurant because you also become very knowledgeable of what's on the menu, because there are plenty of times when I went on a date and I'm like, ugh, like what do I pick? Or it's kind of a flex. I've only done this a few times. Like, hey, I'll order for you. Like, like you're gonna love this.
Hey, that going places you recognize. Look, I know how women think. That could backfire on you too. Because if she picks that up, you know what's gonna go through her mind. What other bitch has he bought here? She's thinking that shit.
Yeah, but the point is that it's going to get them thinking like, man, this guy, he definitely he does have active dating life. Because here's something else I learned: women only want a man if other women want that man for some reason. So I think that's also weird. But if it's like a chill place, I think most people understand it. Well, maybe for a sports bar, because a sports bar you can kind of get away with that because it's like, you kind of go there, maybe just watch the game or anything anyways. So maybe that's probably the best situations, go to like a sports bar, because you can kind of have that ambiguity of, hey, I'm just there watching the game with other people. That's why everyone knows me. Or, I've known these servers for a while. So, whichever. But yeah, you're right. It could backfire. But I think that's what people should be, going for or pushing for.
I'm going to close this out. Because a lot of people who have listened to our podcast, and thank you for that, by the way, I've been asked, what is masculinity to you? And I'm gonna keep saying this. There's this book called The Way of the Superior Man by David Diada. I really recommend you read that book. It'll put a lot of stuff in perspective for you, and it's an easy read.
Yeah. And, if you really want to know what masculinity is or what's not masculinity, take a look at the Kamala Harris campaign. So they are the opposite of masculinity. Tim Walz, the opposite of masculine. Doug Emhoff, the opposite of masculinity, and that's why they have a man problem. But anyways,
Oh man, you said a mouthful. Pause.
yeah, pause. What the fuck? All right, we're gonna jump to the next subject.